Hello everyone, my name is Abhishek Jain, and in today's video I'm just gonna explain how I am able to run end-to-end trade execution application without writing a single line of code by myself. I just took a help from an Llama large language model AI tool built by Meta, right? So let's get into the demo part and see how that end-to-end application works, right? So this is the main UI which we gonna see when we are going to run this. This is how it looks like. So all we need to do is to just provide the symbol first, like AAAPL for Apple. We can say how many quantities we want to buy and what price we want to take, and order type is I'm gonna say market, and I'm gonna say enter, right? So on the back end where this application is running, you can see how it is progressing. But on UI phase, you can see it's currently updating the market data, right? And this is the progress bar where you can see. So it's updating a market data, right? So basically what is happening behind the scene, if you just see, there are four system like order management system, exchange connector, the trade execution engine, and the risk management where the market data is being updated. Once that is done, you know, then you can see order is being created, right? Then there is a pre-trade risk check passed, then order routed to the exchange, then trade confirmation received, then a trade confirmation sent, right? Then trade is executed, update the trade position, you can see the entire flow, right? And now trade is executed successfully. We can reset that, and again, we can add some, let's say Google. Let's go ahead to 200 and that's 150. Enter again, right? It's again processing the data, updating the market data, the same flow, right? Now, the question comes into the mind, what kind of question I asked, So here are the question which I have asked. So these are the 9 questions, which I asked to Llama, right? So if I just take it here, it's pretty simple, and it is not like, I have created my own. I just, ask some questions, very basic question. If you just look at the nature of these question, right? So very first question, could you please help me to develop a code for order management system in Python? Order creation, modification, cancellation, and routing in the exchange. That's it, right? So, Llama just shared this, right? See, let me just come here. Right? This is the first piece of code. I got it from Llama. Then I just copy, paste, ran it, and then I asked a follow-up question. Could you please share in the response starting from partial fill order function onwards? Because what problem I faced is when it was giving me a response, Llama has some kind of limitation and the code was way bigger than what the limit it has. So I did ask, the follow-up question, like, can you just share me the remaining part? And I got that. Right? Then I asked that, okay, could you please help me to develop a code for an exchange connector? So how did I get, what the flow should look like? I mean, that is again, I asked Llama to explain, right? And this is what I got when I asked the same question, right? Can you just explain me the flow of trade execution? Then it says that this is the flow, right? First, we have to create the order, then order gets routed to the exchange, and exchange makes the connections, and then order get executed. Trade confirmation happens, trade executed by trade engine, and then there is a risk management which do a pre-trade risk analysis or post-trade risk analysis. Then I asked what all system components we should have in trade execution. Then these are some systems, to be very honest, I don't have any idea, I mean, how this trade get executed, right? All these kind of thing I just collected from the AI tools LLama today only, right? So if you just see before I start asking, to the question related to the application, I asked this question. Very simple question, right? Please share on how trade execution happens over the exchange. What if we want to build a simple application, blah, 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 right? And this is what I got it, right? So I just capture, how the flow looks like. And then I start asking questions around, the coding part, right? Right. And then I asked the very first question I asked for the order management, and then I asked for the exchange connector, then I just got another response, and then I asked that, okay, once we have a exchange connector, I want, you to just add, like trade execution. I mean, how the trade execution happens, then I keep, but in between, I was getting a lot of errors. So all I have to do is to just copy paste that error and say that this is the code you provided and this is the error I'm getting. So you can see there are a lot of errors I just ran into, right? So I didn't do anything intelligently. All I need to do is to just extract that the error which I was getting when I just try to copy paste the code and run the same code, and I just have to copy paste again what kind of error I am running into and just ask, okay, this is the error I am getting, right? Then the third question, could you please help me to develop a code for trade execution that executes trade? All these kind of the language which I'm using here, right? The same language I got it from the very first response where I asked LLama, okay, what the system flow or the component flow looks like within a trade execution, right? And then I keep asking the same questions, right? Once the trade engine got created, then I ask for the risk management. Once the risk management related stuff just got added, then I just asked to just add the market feed, right? And all these things, eventually just end up in this structure, right? So that I can show you in my pie chart, right? So here we have this LLama trade execution. Then we have an exchange connector. It has the same code. This is just a copy paste from LLama. We have another component, which is market data feed, same data. I haven't write even a single line of this, not a single character, right? Then we have this order management, then we have a risk management system, then we have a trade execution, and eventually we have this trading station. Trading station means the UI, because we have to have a UI, right? Because it's otherwise, it doesn't make much sense to just run all those things from the command line, right? So this is what the code I got it for. Even the UI part also, right, which you are seeing on my screen, this one. I didn't created that, right? I asked, okay, once we have entire thing set up, right? Though I have to struggle a little bit, to just, structure the entire code in a modularized way. That is where, I have to just use a little bit of my expertise. But after that, I mean, if you see here, I'm asking, can you just, create a market data feed related system as well for me, which can integrate well with, order management system, then the exchange connector, and then trade execution engine, and the risk management, right? So I keep asking question based on what kind of error I was getting into, right? And LLama seems to be very intelligent because keep throwing some more ideas as well, right? Whenever I'm asking such question, it says that, okay, would you like to add these kind of feature as well in the code? Then, I keep saying, okay, yes, we want that, right? So eventually, thank you so much. This is the question I asked where I asked, can we just, write some kind of integration, right? Thank you so much. We are already able to integrate auto management, blah, blah, blah. Now we are left with the last component to create a trading station for all the codes we have written so far. So what I'm asking is, can we create a UI kind of stuff where, we can through the UI, we can just execute so that, whosoever wants to run it, he or she doesn't need to, deal with the code or deal with the command line console and all those kind of stuff, right? So there are a lot of issues. It's not that I was not running into a lot of issues, right? There are a lot of issues which I faced, but what I did is whatever error I was getting, copy and just pasting here and say, okay, this is what I'm trying to run and this is the error I'm getting into, right? And that way, eventually, after spending, I think, almost 8 hours with those 9 questions only, I was able to run this. See, again, this ran successfully. And you can see the entire flow here on PyCharm, how the, flows are just getting in, right? So first for Apple, and then second one is for Google kind of stuff, right? So first it's start updating a market data, and then start creating a order routed to the order routed to the exchange, confirmation received, and then trade get executed, positions are just updated, and the risk management like post trade risk analysis done, and eventually the trade got successfully, right? So right now, everything is being run. The entire flow is being run locally, right? And we are not persisting any data. So probably the next thing which I'm gonna do is I'm going to start embedding or integrating the persistent storage, and then probably we can just keep adding more intelligence, like how to cache the data in case if there is a failure or we want to retry it, so that how we can retrieve the failed scenario and try to retry it. Wherever it is needed, we will try to persist the data. Wherever it is needed, we will use a cache, and eventually we will convert this code into the microservices as well. And I'm not going to write anything for all those kind of stuff. What I'm going to do is I'm just gonna keep asking question to these AI tools to see how far I can go with this application. But it really looks very promising. You don't need to know anything from the technical standpoint. You don't need to understand the functionality. All you need is just ask a right kind of question to start with. Once you start a right question, then automatically it keeps suggesting whether you want to know this thing or that thing, right? This is something which you would be interested if you are asking this question, and you have to consolidate all those responses. And you have to think a little bit innovatively and creatively, and then you will be able to just design a solution, right, for the trade execution, which is a very complicated phenomenon, and which is a very complicated application to build upon. Right now, it's not reached to the point where it can be used, but it's for the starting point perspective. If you just wanted to get a sense like what kind of capabilities these AI tools are giving you, just in few hours, asking few questions, if you can build this kind of application, believe me, if you just spend some more time with right kind of question, with right kind of context behind those questions, you can just take this application to the next level, where soon it will reach to the point where you can showcase, okay, now these AI tools are really something which is going to be a threat for the beginner or the mid-level software engineer. I hate to say this, but the way these tools are getting intelligence advanced day by day, we really need to think about it, and we really need to start using all these platforms as soon as possible, so that we can understand what are the weaknesses these AI tools are having, and how we can be more innovative and creative to fulfill or to act as a companion for these AI tools, so that the eventual product or the solution we are trying to build, it's actually going to help the organization or the business or our community, right? So that's pretty much it from my side, and thanks for watching this. As always, if you have any feedback or any suggestion or any question, please feel free to put that into the comment section, and stay healthy, keep learning new things.